Let's talk about an issue that affects basically everyone, but then particularly at the grassroots level, which is the local council autonomy. So the autonomy of the local government is a fundamental aspect of democratic governance, as it enables local communities to manage their affairs and make decisions that impact their lives. 6 months ago, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the financial autonomy for Nigeria's 774 local government areas. Now, this landmark judgment was seen as a major victory for the local governments and a significant step towards strengthening democratic governance at the grassroots level. Basically, just blocking, that major gap between governance and the people, because the people keep complaining, we do not feel the impact of the government. State level, we know the governors cannot really get to every individual, and cannot get to even the local government, the villages. And hence the reason why people are pushing, at least we know our councillors, we know our chairman, and we can reach out to them. So, however, despite this landmark judgment, the federal government has yet to implement the direct payment of allocations to the local governments, leaving many to wonder if the ruling will ever be enforced. So this delay has sparked concerns among the local government officials, stakeholders, and even citizens who are eager to see the benefits of their autonomy. And according to recent report, between July and December of 2024, the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee disbursed a total of 2.8 trillion naira in allocations to local government councils. This represents approximately about 24.9% of the total distributable revenue of 8.351 trillion naira for the period. Breaking it down further, in July of 2024, the total revenue shared was 1.354 trillion naira, with local government councils receiving about 335.19 billion naira. In August of 2024, the total distributable revenue increased to 1.358 trillion naira, with local government councils receiving 343.703 billion naira. Now, despite these significant allocations, the delay in implementing the Supreme Court's judgment has raised concerns about the commitment of the federal government to ensuring the local government receive the funds that they need to deliver essential services to their communities. So joining us today to analyze the implications of this uncertain implementation is Honorable Adamu Abdullahi Candido. He is the immediate past chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council and former mandate secretary of the Transportation Secretariat in the FCT. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, my sister. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure having you this morning. Now, last time we spoke, it was about the local government being able to reduce the fees for young people that want to come out for election. But then today we are still talking about the local government. Honorable, what is your take on this delay implementation by the federal government?
I think let me put it this way. Could it be fair for certain norms that the state governments who the local governments are used to fall under their authority and supervision? Are they afraid certainly of losing some portions of what they used to have before the autonomy? This certainly could be a question that maybe we need to look into it and then possibly analyze. Else, if there is a judgment that says give it to Mr. Caesar what belongs to him, you used to hold it, it wasn't for you, why not release it? So for me, I think we must give it to ourselves that there are fears of certain norms. The state governments, here the state governor, because when you say state government, you're only referring to an individual who is the state governor. He supervises the local governments. More often, it is their aides, appendages, boys that used to be just asked to represent, during elections, and they just go and manipulate elections and say these are newly elected council chairmen. So if they used to know that this is what we used to take from these local governments, and we're about losing it as a result of the autonomy, I'm telling you, they may not be happy. And so reasons for the delay in the implementation may likely be given to the fact that the state governors are afraid of losing a punch of money that is usually coming their way that does not belong to them, that belong to the local governments. So in this case, two authorities, National Assembly and the same court again, must be, must have to take actions if only we want to make sure that this implementation come to pass.
All right, so you mentioned something that piqued my attention. You said that the governors sometimes, send their aides or their boys and will come out and say, oh, this is a local government chairman. And that also puts a doubt on the quality of people who have been given the position as local government chairman. We can't speak for, at least we can see in the FCT, but we can't speak for other states because we don't know how we operate there. We don't know the quality of people that have been put there. And that's one of the things that raises questions. The government stated practical impediments as to the reason why this has not been implemented. And one of the practical impediments was possibility of financial mismanagement. We've also spoken to Nigerians who are also having the same fear. So what's your thought on, the kind of people that are handling local government positions? Do you think they actually do have the ability to handle these funds if given to them?
That is even why I said more often than not, you discover that those who are penciled to chair councils at state levels are just mere appendages. They're just boys, errand boys of these governors. They could either be their former PA, former SS, and so they only listen to them. They take directive from them. So you are from local government B, go there. I'm sending you to local government B to be chairman. Whatever comes to the local government B, you bring it to me. That's certainly what they do. So for us, let me give an instance from we in FCT. For those of us who are in FCT, I think we've been having it so good, even before the autonomy, because the FCT usually presided over by the FCT minister has never been interested in having anything to do with the local government funds. And so we've had our autonomy long before now. Okay. We sympathize only with our colleagues in states. Out of the 779 or 774 local councils, if you take away FCT 6 area councils, we used to sympathize with the remaining councils across the country because we knew that actually what is due to them is not usually what is given to them. Our neighboring councils are here. You could see Kefi, Karo, Suleja, Tafa, and Co. And after every month of sharing of these allocations, you will be able to see from the line of distribution. Local government A, maybe I won't mention name, is allocated 230 million. Okay, what the governors does is just to say, what is the strength of your salary? Oh, the strength of my salary of my local government is 50 million naira. It's given. And then they just take maybe a little of 2 million, 3 million as interest for the council chairman to foil his car to do one or two things. Where is the rest? How does the local government now provide services for their people? These certainly are issues that, because they are their boys and they dare not talk. If they do, you know what they used to do is to say, we dissolve the councils, or we remove the chairman. That has never been here as far as FCT is concerned, because we are democratically elected, we have our rights, we vouch for what we do, we speak out, and if you want to deny us certain things, we say no. So certainly that cannot be achieved in states, because they do not have that mouth. They don't have the liver, they don't have the courage to speak, because they were only planted there. But things are changing. With the autonomy now, you can see people, very senior, well-minded Nigerians, wishing to become local government chairman or chairman, because they do know that with the things changing now, maybe the governors may have to, think again to say, things have changed, let's just allow the local government to
function. Okay, Honorable, before we come back to what the federal level should do when it comes to implementation of this, I want to continue with what you just finished saying right now and link it to what we spoke about, I think, some months back, talking about election. While they're pushing for, the financial autonomy for local government, there's also that push also for independent electoral commission to come from the FCT and not the state, where people assume they are also being controlled. In order for the governors not to get their say on who they put in that position. And so it's like they need to work hand in hand. So how do you think that can be achieved? Because at the end of the day, just like earlier when Lillian made mention, there is still that fear that if they should give these people, if this is a fight we're all going on, to get autonomy for them, if they should give them the money, it might not likely reach the route that that money is intended for.
You see, generally, the fare is already a known fare. For local councils in states that got elected through what you call state independent electoral commissions, we've been advocating, and I have been a strong advocate for removing what you call state independent electoral commissions, because they too are mere institutions that the state governor just put in place their persons, run the affairs of these elections, and then put in place my boys. That's all. We have been advocating, and I keep saying I'm a strong advocate of that. The Independent National Electoral Commission be asked to take charge. In FCT, I will have to give instance because this is where I come from. In FCT, where we have been having elections, today you have PDP in local government A, you have APC in local government B. Today in FCT, because it's a national election that is organizing, a commission that is organizing election, you even have, what do you call them? Those in the National Assembly as, different members of different political parties, not the APC. This shows you how transparent that election can be conducted and how people who deserve to be elected can have their way. But if it is to be done through the State Independent Electoral Commission, like they call themselves, I believe, with apology, they should just call themselves State Electoral Commission, not independent.
Honorable, like what you're saying literally is that we are seeing undemocratic attitude being happening in Nigeria and nothing has been done about it.
Yeah, sincerely, nothing is happening. Nobody is wishing or ready to take the hammer, all right, and really hit at where faulty, institutions are being encouraged. If we take up our, the hammer very well and say, look, you are doing the wrong thing, you hit the wrong thing, and then you get the right thing done, you'll be happy. That everybody will now feel a sense of belonging, and then everybody will feel, will have a sigh of relief that things are now going to work for local government. But as it is, let me be very sincere with you. Nigerians are not the type of people that will wish to speak out when they need to. And that is why we keep having the wrong things in place. We even have to, applaud the government of the day through Mr. President for doing what even the governors are not happy. Because, take it or leave it, what Mr. President has done in the area of this local government autonomy, no matter what, and no matter what the governor will say, he is not a happy person today with Mr. President, because it seems that they are being exposed to certain things that are not really ready to compromise. That is the situation for now.
Okay, now that we're seeing this very dicey situation, and we all know the importance of local government when it comes to grassroots politics and grassroots development, no doubt Nigerians are still very skeptical about the level of attitude of this local government council chairman and their ability to actually take charge of these funds and manage it properly. But in your experience, you've given instances to the FCT and how it operates, saying that the FCT has been autonomous, for a while now. What do you think at this point would be the ideal relationship between the state, the federal, and the local government council, moving on to other states that are still trying to get their autonomy in terms of election, in terms of putting in the right head, in terms of proper management of funds? How can this be ensured that there is a bright synergy going on in that?
In the first place, my sister, who tells a governor that a local government chairman is his errand boy? Okay? Who also tells Mr. President that state governors and local governments are their errand boys? These three institutions require synergy. For who? For the interest of the common people. Over 90% of the population resides in localities. And you say you are Mr. President, or you call yourself Mr. Governor, and you are working for who? You are not a governor for your family. You are a governor for the people. And if you are a governor, you must have also come from one small unit of a ward, okay, within that state. You must have also come from one local government. They are your people. Now you are using your power, okay, to flex muscles and then deny them certain rights. If you leave your governorship and return home and meet a local area that you come from, you are given back to undeveloped. Who do you blame? Who do you blame? And therefore, for me, it must be a synergy between the federal, the state, and the local government. Because the three put together, you are only providing service for the common interest of the common people. And if you fail to do that, then you have failed. I used to advocate, okay? And there is no reason to be shying away from, speaking your mind. Any state governor that denies the people this autonomy shouldn't go beyond the first term. If we are wise, if truly we know what we are doing, you are a governor, our brother, you are not better than us. You are only privileged to be a governor. Who tells you I cannot be a governor? Now, if you deny me or my people right of having services as is expected, and then we still have to take you back to government again, then we are fools. You get my point? So if there is no synergy, sincerely, we begin to lose so many things. But as we can see, the federal government is sincere with all the intentions clearly defined, wanting this local government to come to be, except for the frustrations of what the state governments are doing. Else, this is the right time that Nigeria will begin to see true local community progressing. Okay? While I serve as chairman of a council, I try to change the narrative. What we used to see in those days was, maybe if the local government want to provide a little road, you just find a grader, all right, brush down the trees and then create a road. In my tenure, I said no. The people who deserve a good living in the city through good, asphalted road, I should also be able to use the little resources at my disposal. If I want to create a road, it must be asphalted. It
should be worth the while.
Okay? Those were things that I was able to do. And the roads are still there. If you go to certain area that I provided asphalted road, you may think it is beggar that does that. This is true service. And then you try to now open up this community so that they can also feel a sense of belonging
and development
in their nation. And then the development is finding its way, and then everybody will be happy.
So do you think local government chairman we have today, the ones we have today that have been, like you said, selected, not even elected to an extent, have the willpower to do this?
They may not have.
That is the skepticism that
they may not have, because even as it is now, forget about the autonomy is being pursued vigorously by the federal government. We all appreciate that. But I'm telling you, these discrepancies, this uncertainty that you are seeing, okay, rearing its ugly head, coming from the state government, giving you excuses of this or that, this is what will keep rearing until most likely the end of their first tenure.
So as we are fighting for the autonomy to be implemented, we should also be fighting for the other, dramas happening, which is independent electoral commission on the FCT level should be, or on the federation level, should be the one to look into the elections.
If we don't have independent electoral commission managing elections at local government level, if the local government elections are still to be conducted in the next 100 years by state governors, I'm telling you, we will never have it so good.
At this point, I believe it is
the
safe to say that even if the autonomy takes place and this electoral commission is not independent, the governors should just do well to pick the best of their boys that are loyal to them to handle the resources.
That is what it is.
But I'm still, we have to still continue to push for this, because at the end of the day, it gives us room to hold the local governments accountable. You know, now we don't get to, because we know they are not even given what they should be given in the first place. But then we saw the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy come out to address the issue of the delay of the implementation, saying that, you know, there seems to be a bit of practicality that they need to take care of first before that. What do you think, or what would be the implication of dragging this implementation on average Nigerians? Because you need to go to, we make a lot of reports, you need to go to local government, you need to go to villages and see how bad basic amenities, you know, they've been deprived of it. And the governors are still living lavishly. Our state level and even the federation level are still living lavishly. And let's be honest, because these people have been so distant with poverty for the longest time, they cannot understand or relate to what the people are going through. So at least the local government chairman can wake up in the middle of his people and still see how they face life every day. So what would be the implication of the government, the federal government, you know, people in charge, just dragging out this implementation?
If I have to advise, I think with the good intention of Mr. President and his government, of course through the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, and indeed the Minister of Finance, these corporate institutions, Mr. President, his ministers of finance, the Attorney General of the Federation, need to do more in this regard. Because if they bring out the authority in them, using the National Assembly legislation, they will bring the governors to their sizes. That is it. The moment you say this is a law, it has to be obeyed.
Of course.
No one is above the law. Nobody, not even Mr. President, not even the governors. A law has been passed. The Supreme Court has, delivered a judgment, and then an individual or individuals are frustrating the implementation, and they are Nigerians, and they are still looking up to the same voters to bring them back to power, and these votes are coming from the rural areas, and yet you want to beg them again? No, you can punish them with your votes. The moment any governor that refuses, any governor that refuses to, adopt what this law is saying about this local council's autonomy, the people should severely punish them with their votes. You have a term, at the end of it, you go back to your village too, and then see what you deny these people from having as a result of your your insistence.
That's a great note to end the discussion on that. Hopefully we get to see positive side of it. At the end of the day, just like you said, Nigeria comes first, the people come first, more than any individual interest. Thank you so much, Honorable Adamu Candido, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was the conversation. Hope you understood, where all the implications are coming from, and hopefully we get to see a better result of that one. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will look at the front pages of the national dailies. So stay with us.